Want to know if you're restricted? Well, why am I making this video first and foremost? Let me address that before we get into this video itself, because you might be like, this is kind of a random subject, and it is. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video was because I discovered, much to my own surprise, that in many, many ways in my life, I was restricted. And you might look at me and be like, you don't seem that inhibited, like you act a fool regularly on your own channel, and like you seem pretty comfortable with yourself. Like, what do you mean you're restricted? You seem like you've got whatever you need. And I do. I don't want you to misunderstand, the restriction thing. However, you guys have heard me talk about, I think I spoke about it on the channel at any rate. If you hear some crackling, don't mind me. I have a candle over there that you might be able to hear. Anyway, the reason I wanted to make this video about restriction and the question, are you restricted, is because I found out that in several different areas of my life, I was actually self-restricting. I'm laughing about it. It wasn't actually that funny though. I was very much shocked by the fact that oh, I'm not even allowing myself to do certain things. That's pretty crazy. Why not? And there was really no good reason. So today, the question that I decided to pose to all of you, it's important for awareness sake to be aware of oneself. And so today I would ask you one, are you restricted? And then if you are, in what ways are you restricted? And I would invite you to look at that within your life, because for me, just as for example, to help you understand why this is even important at all, let's use me as the example. So I am more years older than I would like to admit. I'm very close, shall we say, closer than I would like to be towards half of probably my life, and that's if I live on the long side of lifespans, right? And within that time that I've been alive, mostly, and this is really true and kind of wild, mostly I have been restricted, which, again, I'm not sure why that was. Why did I ever pick up a habit of restricting myself? And truthfully, there's no good reason. It was just something that I do know where it stemmed from. For me, in particular, at any rate, it was from, believe it or not, a low self-worth. I think it stemmed from this strange, twisted version of, well, I don't deserve to have what everybody else has because I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as them, which was something I carried around for a very long time for, again, a variety of reasons. My self-worth at that time was really very attached to, what I mean to say is my self-confidence level at that point in time was based upon purely how successful I was. And at that time, I will tell you, in my life, and even up until now, I don't super feel like the most successful person ever. I'm just being honest about how I feel. I would love to be successful and to say, yes, I claim that. And I do claim that I will be successful. But if you ask me honestly at this moment in time, am I successful in life? I would most certainly pause at the very least. So I wanted to make the video about, are you restricted? Because one of the fundamental things that has been helping me to move forward as of late, which I think I've mentioned here and you guys will thus know, is, shifting the energy of some of these things, doing some of the things that I wouldn't have allowed myself. I know that I've spoken on the channel about how one of my examples that I think I gave back then was with my paintings. I often, for whatever reason, it's not just with paintings either, it could be with music or anything that I love. Sometimes I'll go say, get something high quality to use. Maybe that's high quality watercolor paints or something, right? Then I won't use them because I'll feel like, oh, but I'm not talented enough to use them. Listen, if you recognize that type of talk in yourself, I invite you, as someone who has been working on this consistently lately, to get rid of any restrictions that are negative that you've placed on yourself for basically any reason. Whether that was because external forces told you that something wasn't good enough, or you began to believe that either you or something you were doing wasn't good enough. Whatever the reason was that the thing arose that you are now restricting yourself on, I do very humbly invite you to release that restriction. And the diagnostic tool to find out, by the way, if you're like, well, how do I know if I'm restricted or I'm not restricted in my life? Maybe you feel very free and you're like, well, I want to make sure that I don't have any restrictions in me, so let me do a self-check. The way that you can see, are you restricted? And this might seem silly, that's the truth, is, are you having fun? And I would suggest that if you find out that you're not having fun anymore or much in your life, to unrestrict those things that you haven't been allowing yourself to do, whether that's gaming, whether that's painting, whether that's reading a book, whether it's going for a walk, whatever it is for you that you haven't been allowing yourself. And I'd be willing to bet, because I know that there are lots of other people out there like me who, have not reached where I am yet, and thus are still in the learning process that I was in about the restrictions and all of this. And so I wanted to just make this short video about that, to say that if you tune into your life and you find that, lo and behold, you are restricting something, and in fact that's something that you're restricting, it's not going to harm anybody, it's certainly not going to harm you, and in fact would make you happy, please go do the thing and stop restricting yourself. I know it's a weird video. It's so important though, because so many humans that I've met, it's not just me, so many people that I've met restrict themselves for one reason or another. And the saddest thing I see is that a lot of the times what they're restricting themselves from is exactly the things that will make them happy. And that, my friends, is the point of the video, because the things that you're not allowing yourself to do, sometimes, it's not a hard and fast rule, sometimes it's exactly those things that you're not allowing yourself to do that are in some way a key to unlock the rest of your life, because you've been restraining or restricting yourself for some time for some reason. So if you find yourself in that position, I invite you back to fun, because baby, life is meant to be fun. So if this video has helped you, please do share it with anyone that you know it might help or think it might help. Subscribe, as I do upload every single day. Make sure you tick the bell so that you know when I actually have something new up. And last but not least, if you, my beautiful spirit soul, need any help, please feel free to reach out at this email address, where it would be my sincere pleasure to help you on your life. So have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day. Namaste, much love, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next video. Bye. However, but like I discovered, Superwoman, here I am to save the day.